Hello, welcome back to another edition of Lone Star Football Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Johnson, and today I'm going to be doing what I'm calling a fantasy mock draft, and basically it's just doing a mock draft after a hypothetical Deshaun Watson trade. So I had some people comment down below my last mock draft for potential Deshaun Watson trades. Thank you for those who have done it, by the way, and what I did was I mixed some of the trades I got down there, along with the reports that the Texans were looking for 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 defensive starters. We've also heard that the reports that it would take 3 firsts, 3 seconds, etc. to get a Deshaun Watson trade done. But I kind of mixed some of these trades together, and here's going to be the trade for this mock draft. The Dolphins received Deshaun Watson. The Texans received 2 first-round picks in 2021, pick 3 and pick 18, 2 second-round picks in 2021, pick 36 and pick 50, and then a first-round pick in 2022, and cornerback Xavier Howard from the Miami Dolphins. Instead of doing 2 defensive starters, I added a first-round pick for next year and just left it at 1 player. The Dolphins keep Tua in this trade. They can do whatever at this point. If this were the trade, they can flip him for another pick, etc. But that's going to be the trade for this video. Now, let's get into what the mock draft is after this hypothetical trade. Before that, actually, just want to say I didn't know trade backs or trades up in this video. It would have just been too confusing. So I picked out where those picks were, and that's it. But let's get into it now. So, round 1, pick 3, the Houston Texans select cornerback Zach Wilson out of BYU. I believe Fields went pick 2 in this mock draft. If not, it's probably if this trade was the case, it'd probably be one of those 2 picks, Justin Fields or Zach Wilson. For me, it comes down to I think Zach Wilson's the better quarterback. Now, I know Justin Fields did good things at Ohio State. He's a very talented quarterback. He's a great runner of the football, and he passes decently out of the pocket. I'd say a little bit better than decently out of the pocket. But his pocket passing in terms of accuracy and ball placement, it's not there for me. It screams Marcus Mariota type development, and that's just at the pick 2. You can't be having a guy who can't throw from the pocket. That's what you're seeing with Lamar Jackson right now. Cam Newton's had those problems as well. Great runner of the football. Like I said, both of those guys were. Justin Fields is as well. If I'm looking at these 2 quarterbacks, I got to go with Zach Wilson, the better passer of the football, who's also mobile as well. Zach Wilson he played at BYU, so it wasn't Power 5 football. You can always talk about the talent thing, but he also didn't have Power 5 teammates. So that's one thing to consider. And when I'm looking at quarterbacks, I'm not really worried about the competition. I'm looking at your ability to make accurate passes, to be able to read a defense of sorts, and so on and so forth, the intangibles of being a quarterback, not necessarily the talent. Now, Zach Wilson has a big arm, great passer of the football. His accuracy and anticipation on routes is up with the top of quarterback prospects. His biggest flaw so far is he's really only played 1 full year. He's been the starter for a couple years now, but he was dealing with injuries both those years, and this was his first and only year of starting. But his intangibles as a quarterback is why I'm going with him at this pick. His arm talent's there. He's better at reading a defense. That's not necessarily a big thing at the college level because a lot of guys don't know how to read defenses at the college level. Deshaun Watson didn't know how to. Patrick Mahomes didn't know how to. You can learn it, so it's not a big deal. But if you're already doing it at that level, it's a good sign going forth. So that's why I went with Zach Wilson over Justin Fields. It was just the passing, as being a passer, a passing quarterback is what I'm looking for. Both of those guys can run. Justin Fields is obviously better in that situation, but they're both mobile. I'm looking for the guy who's going to get the ball on point, on target, to where you can complete a 15-yard pass, but if you put the ball in the right spot, it's a 40-yard touchdown. That's something I saw too much from Justin Fields. Now, let's get to the next pick. Pick 18 of the first round, the Houston Texans select Kadarius Toney. This might actually be my favorite receiver in the class. He's an electric slot receiver. That's just what you can call him. Now, if y'all know me, if y'all follow me on Twitter, I don't compare many guys to Tyreek Hill because there really isn't a comparison. Yes, a lot of guys have top line speed, but there are very few players that have elite lateral quickness like Tyreek Hill has. Really, only guy before that I can think of off the top of my head was prime Deshaun Jackson. Kadarius Toney has that lateral quickness. He's also has top line speed, but not quite to the length of Tyreek Hill. He is a track runner, but Kadarius Toney, electric receiver, like I said. Go watch his film, not highlight, or you can watch his highlights, but his film as well. He's always fighting for extra yards. It's his knack of making people miss or fighting through tackles at only 6 foot tall, 180 pounds, 190 pounds, whatever he is actually incredible. It's every game I'm watching, he's making people miss. He's dragging people. I love seeing that, especially from a slot receiver. Now, that's kind of his knock, is he is really mainly a slot receiver. He did play a little bit on the outside. He did run quite a bit from the running back position. They lined him up in the backfield and made him run routes out of that position. Now, also, his route tree was kind of limited. Not his route running, but his route tree was kind of limited at Florida. I would like to see him run more deep routes at the next level. He did run a lot of goes, but most of his routes that I saw from watching his film were underneath routes, but he is a guy that you get the ball in his hands and he's making a play. More often than not. Kadarius Toney, electrifying receiver, would be a great pick if this was the case and we get Zach Wilson, just a little safety net kind of thing. Again, his comparison to me is Tyreek Hill. I haven't really seen many people with the skill set like they have. Now, this pick might be my favorite pick of the draft. This is probably my biggest draft crush of this year's 2021 NFL Draft. At pick 36 in round 2, the Houston Texans select Jalen Phillips, edge out of Miami. Jalen Phillips is a guy that if he didn't have to retire because of concussions and he was able to have more than really 1 year of film, then he would be a guy that would be a perennial top 15 pick. This guy has the frame of a J.J. Watt, of a Myles Garrett. He's 6'6", 260 pounds. And his frame's not exactly full. He can put on another 10 pounds, be 270, 280 pounds. He's an absolute athletic freak. He was a 5-star recruit. I think actually the number 1 recruit out of high school when he committed to UCLA in 2017, I believe it was. But this guy is a guy who, he can actually has the versatility to be a 3-4 outside linebacker or a 4-3 defensive end. And in sub packages, he's big enough to play the interior, 3-tech or 5-tech. Now, this guy, like I mentioned earlier, the reason he's going in the second round is because he's had some concussion issues. He actually retired for a little bit. He had an off-the-field injury over at UCLA where he flipped his moped over a car. He got hit and flipped the moped over a car and hurt his back pretty bad. But playing this last year at Miami, didn't really have a problem. Also, with only having 1 year, he has some technique work, but he's good in run defense. He's good at pass rushing. He needs to work on his pad level a little bit, but this guy, like I said earlier, is a perennial top 15 pick if he has more than 1 year of film. He has the size. He has the athleticism. Would be an absolute steal at pick 36 in the second round. With our second pick in the second round, pick 50, the Houston Texans select Davio Nixon, defensive tackle out of Iowa. Davio Nixon is another draft crush of mine. He's a 3 tech to 5 tech, good, best probably at one gapping. He's an athletic monster. He's exactly what we've been missing as an interior pass rusher. He has strong hands, quick feet, great burst. Biggest thing for him maybe is probably working on patience. Gap penetration is a lot of twitch movement and rushing, so that can get you in trouble in terms of run defense and stuff like that if you're not maintaining your gaps. So he needs some work in that area, but Davio Nixon, it would be exactly what we've been missing for the Texans have been missing for forever. We need interior pass rush. It's just too good to pass up at this stage. But with the next pick 67 in the 3rd round, the Houston Texans select Josh Myers, center out of Ohio State. This is a guy who, if we decide to move on from Nick Martin, and you pick up, he could probably start for you day one, but he would need some technique help. Coaching, of course, he's a 3rd round pick for a reason, but a powerful guy. His biggest knock, I believe, is getting to the 2nd level. Good. He's solid in one-on-one blocks. He can hold his own against bigger defensive tackles, but he's best suited for a power scheme. Like I just said, getting to 2nd levels he needs some help with, and if we're doing long zone runs like we did last season, then it would be the movement. He has the power. He needs to work on his mobility. The 103rd pick in the 4th round, the Houston Texans select Quincy Roche, edge out of Miami. This pick kind of reminds me a lot of the Jonathan Grenard pick. Quincy Roche is a technical guy. He has athleticism, but it's not up there with elite athleticism. If he did in size, he would be in the 2nd round, a 2nd round pick. He played in a 4-3 at Temple. He also played in a 4-3 at Miami, so he has that ability. At the next level, he probably, because of his size, translates more to a 3-4 outside linebacker. But good in run defense, good at pass rushing. Is just his athleticism and size kind of knock him down to the 4th round in this mock draft. I think if you can get him in along with Jalen Phillips and along with Davio Nixon, this defensive line and Lovie Smith's 4-3 system is looking a hell of a lot better. I don't know if Quincy would start right away, but if you're getting all these guys in this potential mock draft and you're starting Jalen Phillips at one edge, Blacklock or Davio Nixon in the middle, just you have Jacob Martin, you would have Quincy Roche, you have Jonathan Grenard that you can throw at the other end and maybe do a rotation to where it keeps the offense on guard. So at this point, 4th round, you're going best available. You went edge earlier, but you go edge again here. It's a huge need for the Texans. Now, with the 116th pick in the 4th round, the Houston Texans select Trey Sermon, running back out of Ohio State. Great pairing with the pick earlier of Josh Myers. Trey Sermon is very solid at running up the gut, which is what we did a lot last year. I don't know what the system we're going to be running this year. Tim Kelly's still the OC, so we might be doing a lot of the same stuff, which Trey Sermon would be a perfect fit for. He's probably a guy that needs to be in a committee, but with him coming in, and I don't know if he'd be the lead back day one, but if you get him in here with another back and have them rotate, kind of like how the Colts did with Jonathan Taylor, I think you can get very good production year one out of Trey Sermon. Now, he's kind of falling down to this because, one, the value of the running back position is not very high. He also, I'm not going to say he is lacking in terms of receiving threat, but he does need some work there. But in the 4th round, can't really complain about it. It's a running back who fits your system, who's going to be in a up the gut running power scheme. A lot of great running backs coming out this year. Trey Sermon in the 4th round, absolute steal. Now, the last pick I'm doing in this NFL draft, the 134th pick in the 5th round, I'm going Aaron Banks, offensive guard out of Notre Dame. I don't know if Aaron Banks will ever be an actual NFL every year starter, but he could translate more to as a rotational guard. He doesn't really have that versatility to move between guard and center. He's basically a guard, which isn't a bad thing. I prefer guys. I like guys to have versatility, but if you're gonna end up being a starter, I prefer you have your position set that you're good at and not have to be moved around everywhere, because it's not that easy like everyone thinks it is on the offensive line. But Aaron Banks, another power guy, is going to have some trouble in zone, especially pushing up to the second level. It's just too good to pass up on a D1 offensive lineman from Notre Dame, that school is known for pushing out offensive linemen. He might not turn into anything, but if he's a rotational guard for us, I don't want to call him a swing guard, but the backup guard who can play either guard position in a pinch if we need him, is a great pick in the 5th round of the NFL draft. Not going to expect anything too much out of him, but it's a great pick nonetheless. You can't pass up on a Notre Dame guard in the 5th round. But that's going to be all. If y'all like the video, hit that like and subscribe button. If y'all like this video, this fantasy mock draft, go down to the comment section, give me some more, and I might do this again in the future. Some more Deshaun Watson trades, and I might do this again in the future. If he does get traded, I don't think he will, but if he does, I will absolutely do another mock draft with the compensation we receive. So, next thing up is I'm going to be getting into the NFL free agency. So, y'all stay tuned for that, but have a good one.